You know what absolutely infuriates me? When WWE finally gets something right. When they finally build a monster the correct way. When they finally create the next unstoppable force in professional wrestling, and then it all comes crashing down in the most devastating way possible. And no, I'm not talking about poor booking. I'm not talking about creative having nothing for someone. I'm talking about something far worse. Something that proves the wrestling gods have a sick sense of humor. Bronson Reed's ankle injury isn't just bad luck. It's a catastrophe that exposes everything wrong with modern wrestling, and I'm about to tell you why this matters more than you think. Let me paint you a picture of professional wrestling's cruelest irony. December 2024, Monday Night Raw. Bronson Reed is in the middle of the biggest push of his entire career. We're talking main event segments with Seth Rollins. We're talking dominance that made Braun Strowman look like a cruiserweight. We're talking about a man who went from being released by WWE, clawing his way back through NXT, and finally proving every single doubter wrong. And then, in what should have been just another night of building toward WrestleMania season, Bronson Reed's ankle gave out. Not from a high-risk maneuver, not from some insane spot that would live in highlight reels forever. The injury happened during what should have been routine work, and the diagnosis? A complete nightmare requiring immediate surgery. Now here's where it gets really maddening. Reports indicate that Reed could be out for months. We're potentially looking at 4 to 6 months of recovery, maybe longer depending on complications. Do you understand what that means? That means missing the entire Royal Rumble season. That means missing Elimination Chamber. That means possibly missing WrestleMania. Let me ask you this. How many times does WWE needs to learn this lesson? How many times do we watch as momentum gets absolutely decimated by injuries? And before you come at me saying injuries are part of the business, let me stop you right there, because this situation is different. Here's what makes this situation absolutely infuriating. Bronson Reed wasn't just over. He wasn't just getting a push. This man had become appointment television. Every single Monday night, fans were tuning in specifically to see what destruction Reed would unleash next. His rivalry with Seth Rollins had legitimate heat. His tsunami splash from the top rope had become one of the most protected finishing moves in all of WWE. Triple H had finally figured out how to book a monster heel correctly. No comedy segments, no dancing, no stupid partnerships that diminish the character, just pure, unadulterated destruction week after week after week. Reed was doing everything right. He was protecting his character, delivering in big moments, and the crowd response was nuclear. Think about the classic Seth Rollins match at Crown Jewel where Reed absolutely demolished him. Think about those brutal backstage segments where Reed looked like an actual killer. WWE had spent months carefully building this monster, investing television time, giving him wins over established stars, and creating an aura of invincibility. And now, all of that momentum, all of that carefully constructed character work, all of those plans for WrestleMania 41, potentially gone, vanished, erased, because of an ankle injury that requires surgery. But here's the part that should make every wrestling fan angry. This isn't just about Bronson Reed. This is about a systemic problem in professional wrestling that nobody wants to address. Let's talk about something that's going to make some of you uncomfortable. The modern wrestling schedule is destroying performers at an unprecedented rate. I'm not just talking about WWE, I'm talking about the entire industry. But WWE, with its year-round touring schedule, multiple weekly television shows, and premium live events every single month, puts an insane amount of physical stress on these athletes. Bronson Reed is 36 years old. He's a 330-pound man who performs aerial maneuvers that would make cruiserweights think twice. Every single tsunami splash, every single back body drop, every single bump he takes puts approximately 1,500 pounds of force through his joints. His ankles, his knees, his back, they're absorbing punishment that would hospitalize normal human beings. And the worst part? This was completely predictable. Not the specific injury, but the inevitable breakdown that comes from asking superhuman performances from human bodies. We saw it with Edge and his neck. We saw it with Daniel Bryan and his concussions. We saw it with numerous stars whose careers were cut short or significantly altered because their bodies simply couldn't keep up with the demands. Now, I can already hear some of you typing angry comments. They're professionals. They know the risks. Stop being soft. And you know what? You're absolutely right. They are professionals. They do know the risks. But that doesn't mean we should accept this as inevitable. That doesn't mean WWE shouldn't be doing more to protect their investments. Because let's be real for a second. When Bronson Reed goes down with an injury, WWE doesn't just lose a performer. They lose months of storyline development. They lose merchandise sales. They lose that unique dynamic that only Bronson Reed can provide. You can't just plug another big guy into a spot and expect the same results. Wrestling doesn't work like that. And here's the kicker that really gets under my skin. WWE has more resources than any wrestling company in history. They have state-of-the-art training facilities, they have the best medical staff money can buy, they have performance centers designed specifically to help wrestlers work safer. And still, injuries like this happen with alarming frequency. Let's talk about the collateral damage, because this injury doesn't just affect Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins, who had been having an absolutely incredible rivalry with Reed, now has to scramble for a new direction. The Raw main event scene, which was carefully structured around this monster heel, now has a massive hole in it. Whatever plans Triple H had for the Royal Rumble, altered. Whatever WrestleMania program was being developed, potentially scrapped. And for the fans who invested months of emotional energy into this character and this storyline, they get the rug pulled out from under them with no satisfying conclusion. This is what I mean when I say the wrestling gods have a sick sense of humor. WWE finally breaks their pattern of failed monster pushes. They finally create a heel that fans love to hate. They finally build someone with proper momentum heading into WrestleMania season. And then reality comes crashing down with a devastating ankle injury. But here's where things get even more interesting. This injury creates a fascinating question. What happens when Reed returns? Because he will return. Surgery and recovery aside, Bronson Reed will eventually make his way back to WWE television. The question is, will the momentum still be there? History is not kind to wrestlers returning from major injuries. For every John Cena who comes back stronger than ever, there are 5 Tyson Kidds whose careers never recover. For every Edge who makes a miraculous return, there are countless others who come back to diminished roles and decreased fan interest. The cruel reality of professional wrestling is that momentum is everything. It's fleeting, it's fragile, and it's almost impossible to recapture once it's gone. WWE can try to hotshot Reed back into the main event when he returns, but will fans care as much? Will the storylines feel as fresh? Will competitors have moved on to different programs? Here's what the situation really represents: the fundamental tension between entertainment and athlete wellness in professional wrestling. WWE wants to present the most exciting, most dangerous-looking product possible. Fans want to see incredible feats of athleticism and death-defying stunts. But those same stunts and that same physical style destroy bodies over time. Bronson Reed's injury is a wake-up call that the industry desperately needs but probably won't heed. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Changing the system would require WWE to fundamentally rethink how they operate. Fewer shows means less revenue. Lighter schedules means reduced content for television partners. More protective styles means less exciting matches. And let's be honest, as fans, we're part of the problem too. We demand 5-star matches on weekly television. We expect every pay-per-view to deliver career-defining performances.
We criticize wrestlers for playing it safe or not going hard enough. We've created an environment where performers feel pressured to constantly top themselves, to constantly take bigger risks, to constantly push their bodies beyond reasonable limits. When Bronson Reed climbs to the top rope at 330 pounds to deliver that tsunami splash, we pop, we cheer, we create viral clips and share them across social media. But we don't think about the cumulative damage. We don't consider that every single one of those landings is shortening his career. We don't acknowledge that we're complicit in a system that chews up performers and spits them out. So what's the solution? I genuinely don't know. And that's what makes this situation so frustrating. We can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Wrestling fans have been conditioned to expect a certain level of physicality. Promotions have built their business models around year-round content. Wrestlers have dedicated their lives to performing at the highest level possible. But let me tell you what I do know. Bronson Reed will recover from the surgery. He will work his tail off in physical therapy. He will make his return to WWE television. And when he does, that first appearance, that first tsunami splash, that first moment back in the ring will be electric. The question is whether WWE will have learned anything from this situation. Will they handle his return carefully, building him back up slowly? Or will they rush him back into high-risk situations because they need star power for WrestleMania? Will they adjust their schedule to give performers more recovery time? Or will it be business as usual until the next major injury strikes? I want to believe that Triple H, who himself had to retire due to a cardiac event caused by years of physical punishment, understands these issues better than previous WWE regimes. I want to believe that Reed's injury will spark meaningful conversations about performer safety and schedule management, but I'm not holding my breath. Because at the end of the day, WWE is a publicly traded company answerable to shareholders who demand quarterly growth. They have television contracts that require a certain amount of content. They have a business model built on year-round touring and constant content creation. Changing that system would require a massive shift in priorities that, frankly, seems unlikely. So here we are. Bronson Reed, one of the most exciting and well-booked performers in all of WWE, is facing months on the sidelines due to a devastating ankle injury that requires surgery. His momentum, so carefully built over months of television, hangs in the balance. His WrestleMania prospects are uncertain at best, and the Raw main event scene has to completely recalibrate without one of its most important pieces. This injury is more than just bad luck. It's a reminder that professional wrestling, for all its predetermined outcomes in scripted storylines, carries real consequences. It's a reflection of an industry that demands superhuman performances from human bodies. It's evidence that even the best laid plans can be derailed in an instant. But here's what I want you to understand. When Bronson Reed returns, and mark my words, he will return, that moment will mean something. It will represent triumph over adversity. It will showcase the dedication and determination that separates true professionals from everyone else. And hopefully, it will remind WWE and the entire wrestling industry that these performers are more than just content creators. They're athletes who deserve protection, respect, and the support necessary to have long, healthy careers. The question is whether anyone will actually listen. So what do you think? Am I overreacting about the injury situation in modern wrestling? Should WWE adjust their schedule to give performers more recovery time? Will Bronson Reed be able to recapture his momentum when he returns? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I want to hear from you. And listen, if this video opened your eyes to the reality behind the curtain, if it made you think differently about what we're watching every week, then do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss when we drop the real talk about professional wrestling. This is WrestleScope, bringing you the analysis that matters. I'll see you in the next one.